I'm on mute. Hello, Jim. Hello, Oleg.
Hey, Ahmad, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, but my virtual background is struggling today. It keeps every time I log out, I have to relaunch.
Relaunch it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one better.
You know what? I'll stick with that one for today.
All right.
I'm kind of partial to, let's see, several of them here that are really nice. Trevor, how are you?
It just, I can just see your house being exactly like that. That's why.
This is my office window. I wish. Or even this one. Yeah, I'm on top of, well, there's nothing this tall, this far west looking back.
In a helicopter.
Totally unrealistic if you think about it.
Nice to have an office in a helicopter.
Yeah, I'm already day drinking, so this one is appropriate. Thank you. And of course, Trevor's favorite, which was, let's see here, where did it go? Trevor's favorite.
Yep, that's a good one.
How's everyone doing today?
Doing peachy.
Hanging in there.
I just need to say before we get anyone else, if we have anyone else, because we really didn't advertise today because we didn't have anyone special. But Billy, I've seen your emails. I have sent out the NDA, and I'm hoping that we will get a response here quickly and can move forward on that deal.
Sounds good. I know you've probably been busy with the conference and all that good stuff. So thank you for the update.
And Rich Kramer's jumping in. Good. So Lacey, where are you today? Are you at home?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's everybody?
Hey, Rich.
Hey, Rich, we're good.
Let's see.
And Jim, I keep copying you on deals I send to those guys, but they never answer me. So I'm assuming they don't want any deals. I send it to Carrie and Krellin, and I sent another one today.
Well, we did have a weekly meeting, I think it was last night, and we did discuss about 6 deals. And I will say that they're not super excited about San Antonio.
Okay.
They really like to
stay. This one they'll be even less excited because it's about 2 hours south of San Antonio.
Yeah.
But it's also $60K a door.
Well, then maybe you and I ought to get excited.
So anyways, yeah, okay, I just wanted to let you know.
Okay. Yeah, those guys I think are going to want to stay in DFW if they can. As long as there's still deal flow in DFW, I think they want to stay in DFW or close by. Somewhere between you and them, I think, because your name came up a couple of times like, well, Trevor would, we'd have to use Trevor there. So.
Awesome.
So Hamad, I thought today would be a good conversation for today would be about what we want this to be moving forward. Did you have something else or do you want to talk about something else?
We can talk about that. And that's, I was just going to ask if there's something, in regards to capital raising, anyone had any questions on that we can talk about and answer those questions. But in terms of, how to move forward, I briefly had a conversation with Trevor about this as well. For me, let's leave it as is. If Trevor can take over, the 2 weeks that I can't, let's just do this. And then we can, I felt the most value out of it being a mastermind. I think there's enough speakers and everything. People can go on YouTube and other meetups do that. I always found the most value out of a mastermind environment where, we have people with various experiences joining us so they can, everyone talk to what's working for them and what's not working. So I'd love to get feedback from other people on that, but that's kind of where my mind's at.
And I'll struggle to pick up 2 weeks, but we'll agree to pick up 1. And if it's consistent, either I'll research a topic or find a speaker.
Well, and the thing is, if it's a mastermind, it's really just an open boardroom situation where we're trying to help each other. Anyone that's struggling, anyone that has an issue, and I'm going to try to be at every one, which I'm probably at 80 or 90% of them. So if we have something, and Vinky has also been very proactive about volunteering to help on this particular day and time for this meetup. But we are going to try to refocus this meetup a little bit more structured, where we're going to try to possibly follow a game plan or a what would you call a curriculum. And we've had, I don't know how many people here have actually been through a capital raising course themselves. If there's anyone other than, I know Hamad has, is there anyone else who's actually been through a capital raising course with anyone?
Hi, Jim. I haven't been through any official courses. Well, no, I have been, I guess, through same course. Hamad, what was that guy's name? Hamad?
Brad.
Yeah, Brad. I don't know if it's a course, but yeah, it's more of a mastermind, I guess, to a degree. Okay.
Well, from the standpoint of mastermind versus course, I think that a lot of times, I think we want to reserve a little bit of time for the mastermind. And if the nice thing about having a curriculum or a course is if we skip a week, it really doesn't matter. We just pick right back up on that same topic the next week. So if we start with a mastermind idea, and if anyone does have a problem or anyone is struggling with a capital raise, and we can hopefully mastermind around that, then if we have to skip the curriculum that week, that's okay. We can just pick right back up the following week. And if we don't have anything to mastermind around, then we go right into the curriculum and do that. And I think that every once in a while, we can have a guest speaker who is, has either been a very successful capital raiser or someone who has specific knowledge to help us capital raise. Then, in those weeks, obviously, we'd probably want to concentrate on that as opposed to, let the speaker speak. And then if we do have a particular issue, then we'll hang on and mastermind about it after the speaker. So
that makes sense.
So, okay, great. And I would ask that if anyone, for us to really make this great, I think that Hamad just went through Race Masters, and they have a very successful Slack channel just for capital raisers. I don't know how many people are particularly active in that Slack channel, but we have a Slack channel that has a capital raise, specific capital raise channel inside Slack that we can continue that same conversation throughout the week. If you're struggling on something on a given day, make sure and make it public so that we can try to help. We can't help what you don't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah, and I would just add that there's a lot of people in our network that are active on Slack that have a lot of experience that aren't necessarily in this meeting today, who by asking those questions on Slack, you'll be able to get their inputs as well.
Yeah. And I'd like to grow that and get them a little more active in our group as opposed to maybe another group. And the only way to do that is to have interesting, engaging conversations and interesting and engaging meetings. So I would encourage you guys to, anyone that that is a capital raiser, if we can bring them on board, or if they're interested in joining the meetings, just let us know. This has been a private meeting just for GOB, but I think that we might be in agreement amongst several of us to make it a public meeting, that any other capital raisers that want to come in, just so we can make it more dynamic. you know, and that may be forever, or we may get big enough that we need to, you know, parse it down a little bit just to make it manageable. But we'll see how that works. So,
Jim, and how do I find that channel in Slack?
so the easiest way, Alina, let me share my screen real quick. And
Jen, but before you do that, there are 3 capital raise channels on Slack. And I was going to ask, could we just combine them into one capital raise channel?
well, I think that one, Daryl, is a closed channel. It's only for the speakers, for the people who are running the program. So that one really doesn't count. Yeah. And then the other one was for people that were administrators. We had 4 people trying to coordinate speakers, trying to coordinate, you know, joining, how they were going to advertise, who was going to speak, what was the topic going to be. And then the third channel was an open channel to everyone.
I think, Jim, I would say Daryl, does that have a point? Maybe the capital raisers leaders one we can take out altogether, because essentially the closed group would
serve the same
purpose, right? So just to not confuse people, basically.
All right, done. I'll take care of that. So to Alina's question, so Alina, if in your Slack, when you open it over here on the left-hand side, there will be a thing called a channel browser.
I don't see it.
Or if you just go to channels and hit the plus sign, that should bring up all the channels to add as well on the right hand side. Yeah.
See,
yeah, on the right, the plus sign. Yeah, if you press that.
Alina, are you there?
Yes, I'm trying to. So channels and then click browse.
You can click browser, or you can go down here a little bit further under channels and hit the plus sign. It's not there until you hover over it and then come over and hit the plus sign.
Yeah, there's not much there for me. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you can try this one, and this will tell you all of the channels that we have. And any of the ones that you want to join, you can join.
Thank you. Yeah, I see 2. Daryl, you said there were 3. I see 2. One's called capital.
Yeah, one of them is hidden. So
okay, got it. Thank you.
So we're saying this one is hidden. We're saying this one here we can eliminate. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how to do that, but for now, I'll just mute the channel. Sound good?
He's just gonna mute it for you, actually. So.
Well, is that what that's going to happen, Oleg?
I believe so. I believe it's
typically the organizer, whoever created the channel, typically should have the rights to remove it or delete it, from what I understand.
Actually, hello, Jim.
Hey.
Hi. I'm also trying to find that channel, and in my view, I don't see any of them. Actually, it seems different.
Yeah, you need to click on browse. That's what I did. When I click on browse, they all appeared on the main page.
Right here, channel browser.
If you don't see channel browsers, there's more. You click on more, and it's going to pop up for you. You will see a choice.
Is that Yvette talking?
Okay. Okay, I see. It says I'm not a member. So how can I join to all the channels? The only one I can see from my view is the one it says general.
Yvette, do you know how to screen share?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and screen share. Let me find where I can get rid of screen share.
Should be able to now.
Okay, I will share. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Yep. I think it's yours.
No, it's.
Is it still?
Yeah, we're seeing events. That's good.
Oh, okay.
So just go hover on channels just above that. Yeah, so that plus sign you see there. Yeah. Browse channels. And now you'll see all the channels there, and you can just hit the join on the right hand side.
And I have to join one by one.
Yes.
Yeah, if you just hit it'll join, so it's not like you're gonna have to go anywhere else, so you can join.
Oh, oops, I'm sorry. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thanks.
Beth, are you still in South America?
Yes, I'm from Ecuador.
Are you still in Ecuador? Are you still vacationing? Are you back?
No, I came back. I went to visit my family. I came back already. I live in Florida now, exactly in Palm Beach. So we are with a lot of energy to start learning about capital raising and make our first deal happen.
Do you know, Sindel invited you, right?
Yeah, I know Sindel, yeah.
I thought so. So, okay. All right, cool. You should tell her to join us on Wednesdays.
Yeah, actually I was trying to figure out where can I find all the Zoom meetings for the week.
On the, there's two places. We have a private calendar on the gobnetwork.com. So if you, let's see if I can.
Yeah, that's something I never could join. Remember we had a problem with my email?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, so I couldn't join.
Okay, if I close that down. So when you log in to the GOB network under your name, it'll say private calendar.
Okay.
And on the private calendar, you'll see the meetings that we have. Okay.
Okay.
And then there's also a public calendar here under Interact. And the public calendar is for other meetups. So several of our members, like Daryl, you need to kick Lawrence here into get him on the network. So he's not officially on the network. And you're closest to him. So I'm holding you responsible for getting him under the. But here's these are just other meetups that you can attend. And Alina, I'm glad that I brought this up because I think you said you had a new link.
Yeah, I changed that from the meeting format to the webinar format, so I had to change the link.
Could you do me a favor and just email that link to me or drop it in the chat and I will open the public.
Okay. Sure, I did email it to you, but yeah, let me.
No, if you already did, then I'll find it.
Jim, if it's easier, I'll just find it now and drop it in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah, so same day, same time, just the new link. We actually had, I don't know what to call them, hackers, I guess, a couple of times. So I had to change it because people would just come in and try to destroy the meeting. So I had to kick them out.
A lot of us have had that.
Really?
Yeah.
That happened to me.
What to do was make them register.
Yeah, that happened to me. 2 meetings in a row 1 week. I didn't know Bart Simpson did those things. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
So with having registered, see the problem, some people don't have Zoom account and they don't want to register. So I'm not sure, that.
I don't think they have to have a Zoom account to register. They just have to give their name, their name and email address. They have to identify themselves. And then you have the option then of, if you don't recognize them, or if you think it's suspicious, you have the option of kicking them out. And whoever this is very, 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 very tech savvy. They're tech savvy and they're also a very sick person.
Yeah.
Because when they come in, they're able to spoof their account and make themselves appear and reappear and reappear and reappear so fast that it's hard to kick them off. But so far, since we've started like a registration process, we haven't had them spoof us again.
Good to know. So on a webinar, do I need to check the setting whether there is registration or webinar will not allow that? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
That, Alina, is dependent on when you're setting your registration up. You have that choice whether if someone needs to provide all the information. I would think they at least, well, I mean, you could send out links directly. So yeah, it's up to you when you're initially setting it up, whether if it requires registration or not.
Well, it says registration required. Attendees register once and can attend any of the meetings.
Yeah, so as long as you registered once, you should automatically have a link to all the recurring ones. So you see the July 6th, August 3rd, September 7th.
Mhm.
Yes, you just have to register once.
And Hamad, what you're saying is that should hypothetically prevent from these intruders.
Well, it's up to you, I think, to know who they are.
Yeah.
If they could still put in a fake name and a fake email address and still get in. So if you absolutely do not recognize them, or if it looks suspicious, I would say reach out to them.
It's harder to disrupt the webinar though, right? Because they can't really talk.
Well, yeah, if it's a webinar format, like this is the meetings format, right? In a webinar, yes, everything, no one can see anything, right? No one can see, even like yourself, you can't see the attendees. You can see the names, but you can't see a picture of the attendees.
Well, yeah, technically they can post some stuff in the chat.
Yeah, they can do that,
But guys, there is authentication piece. So do you require your attendees to authenticate or not? Because I think this requires Zoom account.
I have not seen.
You have not seen?
Yeah.
I've not seen the authentication piece. Have you, Hamad?
I have not either, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So next week, Hamad, are you available or?
I am not available next week.
Okay. All right. So next week, we will not start any type of specific curriculum, but what we will do is continue to have this type of dialogue next week. And if anyone has someone they would like to hear from, or a guest that they think would add a lot of value for people that are trying to raise capital, then I would encourage you to let us know who that is. Let's reach out to them, or you can reach out to them and say, hey, would you like to speak to the GOB network? But I also want to take the opportunity to let everyone know we should be talking about deals in here. So anyone that's raising capital for a deal and needs some help, we're all capital raisers. If we want to raise capital, we need to know deals that we can raise capital on. So I know that Daryl Murphy is on and Alicia is on today, and they both have a deal that I'm sponsoring with them in Dayton, Texas. And Badri's on today, and A. Vester has also got some interest in this particular deal in Dayton. So I think it's going to be a very good deal. It's a pretty small raise of $2 million. And I would say that if you have any ability to raise, or even if this is your first raise and you just want to practice, reach out to Daryl and let's see if we can figure out a way to help you get started. And I'll tell you that that is a huge opportunity that's only available in the GOB network. Most sponsors require you to commit to a minimum, and they will not let you in the deal unless you reach $500,000, $1 million. And we still should set a minimum, Daryl. We should set a minimum where if you don't raise at least 250, then you're practicing, you're learning, but you're not participating. So I think that's a very low minimum that's fair.
Yeah. And what I've been doing to make it a educationally based type of a thing, I've a lot of the really new people that, I mean, really new, they just don't have no experience whatsoever. I have given them the opportunity to just, even if they were to bring in 50,000, I'm gonna work with them, right? Because I figured they really don't know what to do. I'm trying to help them get situated, set up, talk to people and stuff like that. But so yeah, I agree. I think like if I was to do this again, I would probably just, like Jim said, put definitely a limit on it, a minimum, that is a minimum on it. Yeah. But I'm definitely doing it for educational purposes. If anyone wants to do that and wants to get their foot wet, and start raising capital, like Jim said, reach out to me. Because
And I would say that's the first thing you need in order to raise capital is you need a phone number.
correct.
You need to have someone you can call. And so if you don't have, and it doesn't matter if you've got 20 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or 5,000 people, you just need somebody to call. And you need to start tracking that. So if you don't already have an Excel spreadsheet with name, email, and phone number, then start one and start practicing. And the best way to practice, look, for many of us, even though we want to be capital raisers, we still feel hesitant about it. And if that describes you, then I will work with you, Daryl will work with you, and anyone else that will volunteer, you know, to actually, I'll go so far as to say, if you want me to get on a phone call and listen to you, or if you want to get onto a phone call and have me do it for you, and you listen to me, you know, we'll do that. And we'll record those so that we can put them up and people can learn from that. But my advice to you is when you call people, keep it short and sweet. Keep it very short and sweet. And if it's somebody you know, you're going to approach it one way. If it's somebody you've never spoken to, it's going to be a little bit different. But basically, you just want to say, you know, hey, I've talked to you before, and you know that I'm a real estate investor. I'm bringing a lot of these apartment deals. You said you might be interested. Just checking in. Are you interested? If I have a deal today, are you interested in talking about it? That's 15 or 20 seconds. That's all it took. And, you know, if you're really nervous, the faster you can get on or off the phone, the better. So even if they say yes, I'm not going to let you stay on the phone and answer questions that you may not know. So instead, I would tell you, hey, that's great. Can we set up an appointment to have a deeper conversation about it? So I don't want you explaining anything. You become an appointment setter. And then if you can be comfortable explaining the deal to them, then you can go on and schedule an appointment for you and them to talk. If you're not comfortable, then you can get with your sponsor, whoever it is on that deal, and say, I'm going to get 3 or 4 or 5 people. When I get them all set up, we'll do a quick meetup and we'll answer everyone's questions. So it should be a very easy, simple process. It just requires that you have a name and a phone number. So, and I would encourage all of you, if you're on this call, you need to start doing that.
Jim, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question too. Thank you for your suggestions. Also, for example, if we were raising capital for a 506C, and all the people we know, well, at least I know, they are not accredited investors, where do I find accredited investors?
Well, Yvette, for you, it should be easy because you are in the medical profession. Most medical professionals make more than, what is the minimum? Is it 200 or 300?
300 couple.
300 for the couple. So $300,000 for a couple or $250,000 for an individual. If they make that much money per year, then they are accredited, whether they know it or not. And most of them probably don't know that they're accredited.
Okay, that's actually something I was going to ask too. They make more than 300 as a couple, but they don't know. And also, so it's okay, they are accredited,
They're
even
still accredited.
if they don't have like, okay.
Yeah, so they don't need to have ever invested in real estate. They don't need to know anything about real estate. The definition for accredited investor has nothing to do with real estate. It's just you make as an individual $250,000 a year or $300,000 a year as a couple. So that's one. And then 2 is if you don't make that, is your net worth $1 million or more, excluding your home. And so if they meet either one of those things, then they are accredited.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
And if you want to find more accredited investors, guys, LinkedIn is really, really, really the best place to be. All you've got to do is type in the word accredited investor, and I guarantee you it'll pull up several hundred names. And then the question is, how do you reach out and connect with those people? And that's something we can go over in a future curriculum.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, and is there anyone on the call today that is already a successful capital raiser? Anyone that has raised $1 million or more?
Yeah.
Elena, you have?
Yeah, I've raised more than $1 million.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to share with the group today that you think is one of the keys to how did you, well, first off, I'd like to ask you, how was your very first raise? How did that go? And what have you changed that's made you more successful?
Well, first of all, Jim, thank you for giving me the floor. Second of all, before I forget, I'm sorry, I sent you the link, but guys, everyone is invited to my meetup. It's for anyone and everyone. We keep it virtual so that people from other places can attend. It's real estate. We bring presenter within real estate and beyond, and always welcome questions and follow-up. So that's that. In terms of capital raising, so my first time was a while ago. I've changed a lot. A lot has to do with, number one, learning and understanding the fundamentals of real estate and the project. I, as many, have started in multifamily space and since then progressed into other asset classes. So learning and understanding the asset class, the project, the area, be very well versed in a deal is absolutely crucial. Second, understanding SEC regulations, following regulations, and being in full compliance is absolutely essential. So in my case, I come from a tax background, so being compliant in the past with IRS has always been the case. So I'm kind of used to rules and regulations in general, so that was instrumental. And the third thing that I think is very important also, and I don't know if it's ever mentioned, is working on building relationship. And you do that through personal development. Things like that, to me at least, didn't come naturally. I spend a lot of time working on my own personal development, reading a lot of books like George Clayson, Tony Robbins, Hal Elrod, and many other books. Just improving it, and then surrounding myself with the people, like-minded people, other investors, talking to many investors, and just being able to start conversations. So for me, again, being an introvert, it took a lot of effort in general, and the process has been evolving, and I'm now very confident, comfortable speaking with anyone and everyone, but it's also a matter of constantly improving and refining and seeing how to best present yourself. So I would say you need to be working on yourself, you need to be working on your knowledge level, and you need to be working on building relationship with other people. I think one of the best books for building relationship, if anyone is interested, is Dale Carnegie. I forgot the name of the book, How to Influence Other People, I think, something like that. But anyway, if you type Dale Carnegie, the book will come up. And if anyone is interested in more book recommendations, just text me. I have a whole library of books, both personal development and real estate, that I can share with you, that I personally read and highly recommend to others. So that's...
Alina, do you have PDFs of any of those books?
No, because I listen. I use Audible. Reading is challenging for me, so I listen then.
So I haven't figured out yet how to add Audible books to the library, but I do want everyone to know, if you haven't been on the drive, there is a very large library there. And I'm pretty certain Dale Carnegie's book is there, but it'll probably be in a PDF readable format, not in a spoken format, unless you have some type of, there is an AI program that will read your audio, your PDFs, but it may sound pretty mechanical. So Alina, what have you done differently from your first raise. How would you grade yourself on your first raise, and what have you changed?
First of all, I've done in the past a much deeper due diligence in general than the first time on everything, the sponsors, then the market and the deal itself, to understand the fundamentals, to understand what was in a deal. And also I've put a lot more time into building relationship with the sponsors and with the investors both. And then the deals that I've offered to investors have been the deals that I personally believed in. So if it was presented to me and it, let's say, promised a good upside for either me or investors, it typically was not the deal that I would go for. It had to be the deal that I personally believed in, and it made sense to me for something to work on. So that has been shifting the criteria. And then also, when talking to investors, you need to be a great conversationalist, and that's typically achieved by patiently listening, and listening not only what people are saying, but also what people are saying in between the lines. Like that guy that Hamad brought to the group, and Hamad, I forgot his name.
Ridgely.
Yeah, he talked about psychology. So there are two good books on psychology by Robert Cialdini, Persuasion, and something else. I mean, they both pop up if you just type Robert Cialdini. He's a psychologist or psychiatrist. He talks about all that stuff. He uses different terms, but again, it's understanding the human psychology, understanding how to deal with each and every person. Obviously, you know, I can't say that I can read people, but I try to pay a lot more attention to what people are saying. And the more important comment is to only offer people what they're looking for. And again, you only offer it when you have it. So, you know, if they're looking for apples, don't offer them oranges, and vice versa. But if they happen to be looking for apples, and, you know, let's say they like Fuji, and you have, I don't know, another type of apple, just offer it anyway. But as long as it's similar to what their investment goals and objectives are in general. And to make it a little bit more precise, I'll give you a specific example. Let's say someone approaches you and tells you that I'm retiring, I am looking for passive income, and you have this multifamily syndication that produces maybe 2% for the first 2-3 years, and only at year 4 or 5 you can see upside because they do in cash out refi and you get 30 or 70%. Well, this is not exactly what this person is looking for. They're retiring, they need passive income, and they need it now. So only offer them something that has that return, that passive income immediately from the get-go on a regular basis, as opposed to something that's more long-term oriented. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, which is basically to say, if you don't have a conversation with people and understand what it is they like to, or what it is they want to accomplish, you know, are they looking for monthly income? Are they looking to grow their net worth? Are they looking to grow their resume and portfolio? You need to understand what's most important to them. And if they say, well, I'd like to do all of those, say, okay, can you rank which one you'd like to do first? Which one is the most important to you?
Exactly.
And I will say, guys, that I don't think if you don't consider yourself a great conversationalist, it is something you can become better and better and better at. And even if you just have a script that you follow to ask people the same questions over and over and over again, it can be very, very, very effective. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you will become at doing it.
Just
Absolutely.
one recommendation that really helped me is when you go to these meetups, try to set up a time with other people in the group and have conversations with them. You know, you're starting off in a safe environment. Well, what it'll also do is it'll help you to start talking to some of those points that eventually you'll be talking to investors with. And you'll be surprised after that, when you start having the conversations within these groups or, you know, one-on-one, how easily you'll be able to talk to investors when they have questions.
So when it comes to conversation, another important point is asking questions. So conversation doesn't mean that you need to be talking. The investor actually needs to be talking, and you need to be asking questions. Questions that will lead you to a conclusion as to what they're looking for. Because at the end of the day, you want to be a servant, you want to serve them and help them. So in order to help them, you need to fully understand what is it that this investor is looking for. And ideally, don't jump into offering something to them before you even said hello, before you got to know each other. That's really important, because it's always critical to establish and build the rapport, and build the relationship, and even make them curious a little bit, you know, especially if it's not their field of expertise. Tell them something that will get them curious and ask you more questions about what is it that you do, and then start the conversation. That typically makes people a lot more interested in learning what you do when they are asking you for more information, as opposed to you spilling the beans up front.
And I think that's a really very important point to dig into, is you need to be of the mindset that you're not trying to sell something, you're not trying to find an investor to invest in your deal, but instead you have a wonderful opportunity to offer someone. And if you don't believe that, and you don't believe in the deal, you're going to have a very, very hard time raising capital for that deal. But as long as you believe that and believe in that deal, you should never have to ask for the money. They will be asking you to invest in the deal. You know, you just need to keep presenting the benefits of the deal and presenting the great opportunity. And you can always ask for the close. I'm not saying don't ask for the close, which is this something you'd be interested in? You know, but you don't need to come out and say, look, we really need you, you know, for you to invest in this deal. The less, that makes you sound desperate. The less you have to ask for the sale, and the more you just present an opportunity, the more likely it is you're going to succeed.
Jim, you mentioned, I think that you said Hamad is part of Hunter Thompson group, or?
Yes, Raise Masters. Yeah.
Hamad, can you share a little bit about that group and your experience with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do you have like a specific question about
no, I mean,
it?
I heard about them, but you know, different people say different things. So just curious, your take, like, was this helpful? How long ago did you join? Did you learn much?
So I've been part of the group for a couple of months now. And it's not cheap, right? So, you know, I would say if someone really wants to dig deeper, reach out to me, but I'm going to kind of go high level in terms of, you know, where I was and why I joined. I didn't join for the course itself because, and I had a lot of conversations because I know quite a few people in the group already. There's nothing there course-wise that I didn't already know. But somebody new, yes, is very beneficial because everything's organized, curated. It's easy to catch on. So, you know, learning curve wise, had I started it a couple of years ago, would it have helped? Yes. Again, it's not cheap, but you know, the reason I joined at this point, even though course material wise, it's not a lot of help, is the network itself, right? It's being able to go connect with other capital raisers that are raising at a higher level and being able to, you know, pick their brains and have conversations with them and what they're doing and how they're doing it. You know, access to Hunter himself, as well as a few other guys that kind of do like the coaching piece in his program. So that was the value for me.
Okay.
And I'll say to everyone here, that's what we're looking to duplicate here. We're looking to duplicate that same thing. I have said over and over and over again to you guys that I don't think there's anything that Hunter is teaching at Raise Masters or that the girls are teaching at Good Egg that you haven't already heard here. And to Hamad's point, he didn't learn anything new. It's really the networking and connecting and brainstorming and masterminding with other people. That's where the real value is. And so that's what we want to create here amongst ourselves and bring other people into this environment without having to spend $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to do it. But it'll only succeed if we continue to add value collectively and make this a great group.
Thank you, Jim. Also, Jim, I was going to ask you, when it's a 1031 exchange, how does it work? Like, how long does it take? If somebody wants to invest in the 1031 exchange, what is the process?
Well, there's two separate questions there in one, I think. One is, if you're raising capital, can you use 1031 money for your syndication? And the answer is yes, but it's a qualified yes, meaning that whoever is sponsoring the deal and how they structure the deal is very, very important if they're able to allow a 1031 to come in and if it's going to affect the underwriting. So the sooner you know, if you have someone who wants to 1031, the sooner you can tell the deal sponsor, hey, I have $800,000 in a 1031. Can you use that? Can you accommodate that? And let them know ahead of time so they can then try to put it into their underwriting and make sure that it works, because it definitely changes the underwriting. Okay. So you can 1031 into a syndication. It is not as easy as 1031 into your own deal or into something you're doing, you know, by yourself, or a JV or a TIC. So, and if I'm saying anything that you don't understand, stop me. So a TIC, do you know what a TIC is, Beth?
I do not TIC, no.
Okay, so it's an abbreviation for tenants in common.
Okay.
Basically, it's very, very similar to a JV, a joint venture, where everyone has an active role and an active decision-making process. And generally, not always, the amount of equity is pro rata, meaning how much you invest is how much say you have in the deal.
Okay.
Generally, not always. So.
And
Jim,
usually,
can I add?
Oops, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we're just going to ask if it is possible, if the deal accepts this, how long does it take?
Well, the 1031 process can be, it can last anywhere from a very short period of time, like a few weeks, to as much as 6 months. I think you have, if I remember right, you have 6 months once you sell your property, and you have to know before you sell it that you want to 1031. So you have to set it up. You can't set it up after you've already sold it. You have to set it up beforehand and talk to a 1031 exchange expert and say, I want to 1031. And the reason for that, the IRS requires you not to take receivership of that money, but instead it's kind of held in escrow. And then that money is put into another investment of like kind, meaning real estate for real estate. Okay. And it can take a long time if they haven't found a property that they like. They have up to 6 months to find a property they like to invest in, but they only have 90 days to identify, I think, 3 properties. So they have to identify pretty quickly 3 properties, and then they're kind of locked into those 3. But that's a regular forward-looking 1031 exchange. There's a reverse 1031 exchange where you do everything backwards. You go and find the property that you want to buy before you sell your property. Okay. So then the 1031, when you've already identified a property, and once your property sells, you can 1031 into that property. That is a little more expensive, but it gives you a lot more choice and a lot more freedom, because now you're not limited to 3 properties. You can go out and shop as many properties as you want till you find one you like, and then tell your 1031, look, I found a property that I want to 1031 into. Can we do a reverse 1031 into that property?
Okay, thank you so much.
But you do need to give yourself at least 30 days.
Okay.
So a 1031 exchange agent cannot make things happen faster than 30 days.
Okay, okay, good to know. Thank you.
Usually, everything is subject to. When I make a statement, I want a disclosure right now that my statements are never absolute. They're always, usually, most of the time.
Jim, I'd like to piggyback on a lot of things that you said, and also to answer about that 1031. A 1031 was brought to me in reference to the dating deal. However, after reaching out to the attorney, if I would have done the 1031 and it was for $1 million, I would have had to restructure the whole thing, my whole loan, my whole everything. I would have to restructure it.
Are they more than 20%, Daryl?
Because yeah, there would have been more than 20%. Plus, by being a tick, plus by them being 1031, they would have had to be a tick. They would have had to also sign on the loan. They would have, and also, as it was explained to me, they by them being a tick, they have the right to sell their portion, and I may not like who they sell it to. So it was a lot that was involved with it, but the main thing was I had to restructure everything, and so I decided not to go with the tick. You can to go with the 1031.
So Daryl's syndication is pretty much already set up. The legal work, everything's already done. Yeah. But I will say to you, you can restructure your paperwork even after you close, even after everything's already done. It'll cost you more, and it'll be a royal pain in the ass, but it can be done. And if you're desperate for the money, you can definitely do it. But it's always easier if you do it before you close. Even if your paperwork's already done, it's always easier if you do it before you close. And if you're struggling to raise capital and you have a big 1031, then it's something you need to look at. And think of it like pref equity. A 1031 is just a pref equity partner coming in that needs to be paid first and needs to be paid 1%. And that's, if you're having a hard time wrapping your head around what it's going to look like, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Now, is that a perfect analogy? No, it's not. But it does give you a simple way of thinking about the deal. The underwriting changes just like it would if you had a pref equity partner. And the other thing to remember is generally, if any single investor wants to invest more than 20% of your raise, then they're going to have to sign on the loan. The bank is going to require them to sign a loan. So if you're raising $2 million, anyone that's going to invest more than 400,000, anyone that's going to invest more than 400,000 is going to have to sign on the loan. And what you find is most of them don't want to sign on the loan. So what you have to do is tell them, okay, don't invest 400,000, invest 399,000. And then they don't have to sign on the loan. Other questions or comments for today? Because I've got an interview coming up in 6 minutes with Mr. Edmund Chen for the GOB Network Conference virtual attendees. And please, I would ask anyone that hasn't already signed up for the conference, please sign up for the conference. But more importantly, if you have not, if the GOB Network or me or someone on the GOB Network has helped you and has helped you in this progression of trying to become a multifamily investor, if you could shoot a 30-second video and send it to me, you know, why the GOB Network or someone on the GOB Network has helped you, it would be very, very helpful for us to promote the conference. So I'd take that as a personal, what's the word I'm looking for? Personal treat, a gift. Yeah. So anything else, Hamad and Trevor, it's your meetup. Anything on closing statements?
I just hope to be a mastermind someday, where I've got the mastermind and I'm teaching everybody what to do.
The only thing I would add is, you know, if you guys have any questions or topics you want to discuss next week or just during the week, drop them in the Slack, please. That way we can, you know, between a bunch of us here, we have a lot of resources at our hands. That way, you know, if you guys can let us know ahead of time, we can try bringing those in.
Okay, perfect.
Great stuff.
And Jim, if we send you the video, do we send you by YouTube or how do we send you?
Any way you want to, Yvette. I want to keep it simple. I don't care if you send it to me
by WhatsApp then. That's the easiest
email,
way for
WhatsApp,
me.
text, YouTube, I don't care. Any way you want to send it to me, I'll just be grateful that you sent it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot here.
All right, I'm jumping off. Thank you very much. And Hamad, I'm guessing that if I join my other call, it's going to kick you guys off anyway. So.
I would think so, yeah.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Great
All right.
call,
Thanks,
guys. Really appreciate all of you.